What's up, everyone? My name is Abby. I like to read, and my arms are really sore. Not necessarily because of this book, but it definitely does not help. So today I'm going to be talking about House of Blood and Earth. Nope. Nope. So today I'm going to be talking about House of Earth and Blood. I didn't really realize that was the name of the book. I call it Crescent City, but that's the name of the series. The actual book is called House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. And you guys know, I love her. Oh my gosh, she is amazing. Such a talented author. And her stories are just, So this is the first book in her new series, Crescent City. I don't know what I'm gonna call the second book in the series because I call this one Crescent City, but it's actually this name, and then so the next book is just gonna be Crescent City 2. I don't know, we'll figure it out. There's a long wait. Sad. It's not gonna come out for a long time, and I'm bummed about that because I really want to know what happens in the next book. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Anyways, so in this video, I'm gonna do like a spoilery free review or summary of the book, and then I'm gonna get out my handy dandy notebook and we're gonna talk about all the spoilers and all the stuff that happened in the book. 'Cause I have like 8 pages worth of notes in this book. There's a lot because so much happened. How many pages is this book? 800 pages in this book. So, and the funny thing about this book is it's not that thick. Like, you would have never guessed that it is 800 pages, and that's because the pages are so thin. Like Bible thin. Like, you know how, like, Bible, like, the pages are so thin because there's so many pages. And, like, I tore one page, and it was so sad, but it's not my fault. The pages are so thin. So, anyways, I gave this book a 9.5 out of 10 stars. This is, so far, the highest rated book of this year. I loved this book. I think it didn't get a 10 out of 10 because I've heard this a lot. It is kind of hard to get into. There's a brand new world, and it is a very extensive, comprehensive world. There's a lot going on. There's a lot you need to know, and it's just kind of thrown at you. And this is classified as an adult fantasy, so it's an adult book. And so there is a lot of information just kind of thrown at you, and so it was kind of a little hard to understand, especially with a brand new world. This isn't like anything I've ever read. There are a lot of different supernatural creatures in this book, and they all have names that I had never really heard of before. And so it was kind of like, wait, angels are called this? Why aren't they just called angels? And then the whole supernatural race had a certain name. And then it was kind of hard to understand who the leaders were. And yeah, it was a little confusing at first. But I found that the less I tried to understand, the more I enjoyed the story. So, like, if you go into this, like, really trying to understand how the world works and, like, have a tier of leadership in your mind, it's just gonna get confusing and your brain's gonna hurt. So what I did was I just enjoyed the story, and as I went through the book, it just kind of made more sense to me. And so I think that would be my recommendation if you're picking this up and you're having trouble because it seems slow and you're just confused. Just keep reading and don't try to, like, build a map in your brain. Just kind of let it happen naturally, because it will. The more you read it, the more it will just fill in the gaps in your head. So yeah, that was why I gave it 9.5 out of 10 instead of 10 out of 10. It was also just like a huge book. It's 800 pages. It's a big book. And so do I feel like it could have been a little less pages? Probably. But I still really enjoyed it so much. The ending just, oh my gosh. Okay, so summary. Don't leave yet. I'm sorry. If you haven't read it, don't leave yet. I'm going to give you a summary. You just stay for 1 second. So in this book, our protagonist is named Bryce Quinlan, and she is half fae, half human. Her mom is a human, and her dad, who there's like so much drama, he doesn't really acknowledge her, he is fae. And she works in an antique gallery thing, and her best friend, okay, so I've heard people call her Danica, and the whole time I called her Danica. So I'm gonna call her Danica. I'm so sorry if that's wrong, but that's just kind of what is in my brain. So her best friend Danica is a wolf. So Danica is like the leader of her pack, and this is not a spoiler, it's in the summary. They are murdered by a demon, and it's very sad. It's very emotional. Bryce is just gutted, obviously, and someone had summoned this demon to kill her friends. And so that person is put into jail. They think they found him, but then 2 years later, I was very surprised when I go to this page and it's like 22 months later. Like, that's a long time to just skip in a book. But 2 years later, they find out that the person they thought summoned the demon was actually not the person who summoned the demon. And so she is teamed up with Hunt. He is an angel. He became a slave because he tried to overthrow the whole system of leaders, and it failed, and so they punished all of them. And so he's owned by Micah, the archangel. And so he has teamed them up with Bryce, and they are trying to find out who is the real murderer. And there's lots of twists and turns, and the ending is heart-wrenching, of course. What else can you expect from a Sarah J. Maas book? And I really, really enjoyed this book. I am so excited for the next book. And not even 2021, because her next book in ACOTAR is coming out. And so it'll probably be maybe at the earliest 2022, which is really sad. But I really enjoyed this book, and I definitely recommend it. I really would recommend that you just try to get through the first 100 pages. It can be confusing, and there's just so much world building and so much information thrown at you, but I promise it is worth it. Once you get halfway, like the ending, I could not put it down. It was so good. So I definitely recommend this, especially if you are a Sarah J. Maas fan. Pick this up, it is so good. And now I'm going to put this book down while I start talking about my spoilery thoughts, because it's really heavy and I can't hold it anymore. My arms hurt. So if you haven't read this book, go read it. It's so good, and I really recommend it. And now I'm gonna talk about my thoughts. So be warned, there are gonna be spoilers. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, I have many pages of thoughts. So the ending is what I really want to talk about, but we'll get to that in a second. The characters. These characters, they just like, oh my gosh, the feels. So Danica, I don't know. I'm gonna call her Danica, okay? I really liked her character. She was funny. I mean, all of Bryce's friends I really liked. Fury for one, I feel like there's so much more to her that we don't know, and I feel like she's gonna be a really important character in the next few books, or if not the next few books, with ACOTAR, we're getting spin-offs of other characters. I feel like she'd be a really awesome character to have a spin-off to, because she just has so many secrets, and she's like an assassin, and she just seems really cool, and she has that, relationship with Juniper, maybe? They're doing some stuff, so that might be really cool to learn about. I also liked Jessiba, Bryce's boss at the Antique Gallery. But I definitely got like villain vibes from her. And there was that part at the end where she's talking to, was it Adis? Yeah, the Prince of the Chasm. He, I feel like, is going to be a big part in the next books, obviously, because of the epilogue. And I'm kind of, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. Sarah J. Maas, she likes to flip-flop her love interests, and I'm a little worried because for the first time since I've read her books, the first love interest that we're introduced to, I really like him and I want him to be the one. But there's a pattern in her series, and the pattern is not in Hunt's favor. Rune was probably one of my favorite characters. Is that how you say it? Rune? R-U-H-N. Bryce's half-brother, the son of the Autumn King and the Starborn heir, whatever that's called. I really, really loved him. He was just so wholesome. He just wanted to do what was best for his sister. He loved his sister so much, was always trying to protect her. I was a little annoyed at Bryce that she was, you know, so hard on him, but he seems so sweet, and I really liked him. And, you know, who knows what's gonna happen with him and Queen Hypaxia, I think her name is Hypaxia. They'd be cute together. But she also has that thing with the merman, so we'll see what's happening with that. So as soon as we heard about the drop, I knew that that was going to be something important later on, because, you know, Sarah doesn't give you information that isn't important. And so I thought it was really interesting how immortals aren't really immortal until they make the drop. You know, they have to have an anchor to help them come out. I thought that was really cool that they have to have a connection and an anchor to help them become immortal. And their first light, the city uses it as like power. And so it was so heartbreaking that Bryce and Danica were planning on doing it together and being each other's anchors, and then she's gone. So Bryce is just like, you know, why bother? You know, I don't have an anchor anymore. Why bother being immortal? So I was a little confused. There are so many things that are connected in this book, like the horn and the demon, the Crystallos demon or something, and then the killings, and then the Starborn heir. They were all connected, but it took me a long time to like figure out kind of what was going on. So the horn was stolen. They were thinking that this demon could be used to find the horn. That's why the demon was out. It was trying to find the horn, and it was just kind of killing people. But the horn is broken. That's the thing. Like, that's why it was just kind of in a temple or whatever, because it's broken. It can't be used. But then they figure out that this new drug, synth, can be used to repair the horn. And this horn can only be used by like the Starborn heir power or something, and it can like open portals to other worlds, which is like, wait, what? And so that's why the Autumn King was trying to get Rune to look for the horn, because since he is like the Starborn Fae heir, he thinks that he could find the horn because it's his power that can use the horn. The whole thing with the Autumn King and Bryce was so sad. I don't know why he hated her so much. He definitely wasn't a good father to Rune or to Bryce. She visited him when she was 13, and she went to go see the Oracle, and she blinded the Oracle, and I was like, what? She has some crazy powers then? Like, what is she destined to do if she's blinding the Oracle? And then it all made sense in the end, but it was just like, it was really interesting at first. I really wanted to know what happened with the Oracle and why it happened. But when Hunt went to visit the Oracle, she was like, stay away from Bryce, and that just kind of furthers the whole theory of that Hunt is going to eventually die because he's with Bryce, and she, you know, it's dangerous, and I don't want him to die. Please don't die. Okay, so then Adis comes, and I kind of like their interactions. He like first met her, and he was a cat, and he was just like sitting next to her, like, I'm a cat, and he's like talking to her, and he definitely knows that she is actually the Starborn heir. He knows her power, and then at the end when he talks to Jessica, there's something going on that I want to know about. They have some plans for her, and I am so interested. That's why I think that in the next books we're gonna have some more underworld stuff with the underworld king and stuff like that. It's gonna be so good. I loved the scene when Bryce finally goes to the Medwitch, because it turns out the venom that from the demon that was killing everyone can actually be used as an antidote for synth, because synth, it's like synthetic powers, and when given to humans it gives them powers, but if you give it too much, or if you give it to people who already have powers, they just go crazy and they rip everyone apart, and they rip themselves apart. And so she's trying to develop a antidote, and she didn't have any more venom, and they already killed the Crystallos. And so the thing with Bryce's leg, how when she was attacked that night, she still has venom in her leg, and she told Hunt that she kept it there. She never got it healed because it was a reminder of what happened, and she didn't want to forget Danica and her friends. It was so sad, but she was like, you know, I can use this to help people. You know, we can develop an antidote for synth. And so she goes, she gets it healed, and they take the venom, and she makes an antidote, and it's, oh my gosh, that scene was really cool, and Hunt was by her side, you know, helping her through it, because it was so painful. And that was when, like, their connection, like, really started. And then the scene with Hunt, like, betraying her, I did not see that coming at all. Bryce finds out that Hunt and his friends are buying synth from the Viper Queen in order to overthrow the Archangels finally. Oh my gosh. And then they find out, and so they take Hunt. I was really not expecting Bryce to try to give herself up for Hunt, because she was so mad at him, and she didn't even know the truth about the whole thing. She still believed that he betrayed her, and even then she still was like, hey, I'm the daughter of the Autumn King. I'm much more valuable to you, so just take me. Okay, let's talk about this ending, because it was my absolute favorite part of the book. So they're at the summit, and all the leaders are there, and Micah sneaks off, and he's like meeting up with Bryce, and we find out that the horn is tattooed on her back. Like, what? Somehow Danica stole the horn because she knew that Micah or someone was going to use it to open portals, and she ground it down to a powder, and she tattooed it into Bryce's back, because Danica knew that Bryce was the Starborn heir because she had to use her power. The whole thing with the motorcycle thing, where they were saving the animals or something, and they got caught, and Bryce used her power, her Starborn power, to like blind all those people and then kill them. And then Danica was like not scared of her. She like still loved her. The friendship between Danica and Bryce was just so wholesome and just so powerful. So Danica knew about her power, and so she's like, hey, I know you can use the horn and you'll keep it safe, so I'm gonna tattoo this on your back without you knowing. That was insane. And don't even get me started on Laylaba, what's her name? I don't know how to pronounce this. Laylaba. I think I just like saw the L and I didn't really pronounce it in my head. Laylaba. Oh my gosh. She was kind of annoying in the book, you know, the way she fawned over Hunt. But her ending, when she's like, my friends are behind me, you know, I am not alone, I will save them. And then, oh my gosh, she released the water, and then I don't know why she couldn't have gotten out of it. I guess the water, you know, there's so much of it that it just, you know, swept her away. But I kind of imagine that she could fly. Could she not fly? I feel like sprites can fly. Don't they have wings? Surely she would have been able to fly away, but she didn't. She died. It was so sad. It bought Bryce time to, you know, get her stuff together, take the antidote, kill Micah. I also think that Ethan really redeemed himself. He was so horrible to her after his brother died. You know, it wasn't her fault. She didn't do it, but he resented her for it. But the scene where they all came to her aid, because she went to go help the humans, and he came to her and helped her and fought side by side. And then when they were running towards, like, I could, like, picture the scene perfectly in my head. Like, they're running towards the gate, and, you know, all the demons are around because the portals have opened, and this gate is closing. This is, like, their last chance to go to the safe house, and the gate is closing, and she just, like, pushes him through, and then it closes, and she's stuck out there. Oh my gosh! And the call she makes to Hunt, where she knows, she's like, I don't think I'm gonna make it out of this. I'm gonna say my goodbyes. And then she releases her power. Oh, that was so epic. She's like, it was kind of, I had a hard time imagining it. Like, the light is coming from her heart, like her chest. So she just like opens it up and the portal closes, but then like she's like down. It was like too much for her, and there's still 6 or 7 more portals. And I knew the drop was gonna come back. I knew that was gonna be important. And when Danica was like, light it up, bitch, let's go, light it up, light it up, light it up. Oh my gosh, that scene, that was probably the most powerful scene that I have ever read in a book in my entire life. Danica, her last, like, essence of her being in the Bone Quarter, it's like, I'm gonna anchor you, bitch, and we're gonna, oh my gosh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna save the world. Use your power. We're gonna close these portals and heal everything. oh my gosh, it was so powerful. I didn't cry, but like I almost did. I'm not a crier, and so it's not like, you know, I wasn't expecting to cry, but like my heart was just like, ah! It was so sad when at the end when she like sees the people across the river, like all of her friends that died, and Danica wasn't there because she like used the last of her to help anchor Bryce, and that was just so heart-wrenching. But there's definitely something going on, you know, with that epilogue about Jessica and Adis. You know, they're working together. They know who Bryce is. Well, not everyone knows, but they already knew who Bryce was. And it's, I don't know what they're planning, and I am intrigued. I just really love this book. It did take me a little bit to read it, longer than normal, because it just was so big and it was so heavy. There was just so much going on that sometimes I just needed a little bit of a break. But definitely my favorite of the year. I enjoyed it so much. Once again, 9.5 out of 10 stars, the highest I've rated a book this year. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited to see where the rest of the story goes and get introduced to new characters, to learn more about the old characters. I'm pumped. I'm in it. I'm in it for the long haul because it is going to be a long haul. So that was my review of House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City. This is my review of Crescent City #1. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys love this book as much as I did. I'm obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And thank you guys for being so supportive and all your sweet comments. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. So in this book, our procrastinator, if he finds out who the real... did you see I just hit myself with this book? This is not a light book. This video is, I bent it. Oh my gosh, I'm just pumped and I can't calm down.